Hello everyone, welcome to another session with me. I am Sanyukta Saxena, certified Zentangle teacher, and hope you are enjoying this series on Tangled Motifs wherein we are using basically Zentangle patterns or tangles to create beautiful motifs, right? Particularly designs that can be used in n number of ways on fabrics, on cups, glasses, anything, right? So let's get started with today's session. So we have already drawn a couple of them, about 5 of them, right? And today is another session. So let us try another new arrangement or setting today, right? So what I'm going to do is start with a gorgeous shape, right? So I have done some bit of groundwork here on this paper, which is a larger size paper, an A5 sheet, and I've drawn a circle basically, and there is a line running in the center, right? So that is the two things that I've done here. And I'm going to start with a nice, just take a reference of the circle. You may not stick to it, right? So I'm just going to add a nice curvy, gorgeous, something like this. So I'm starting with my pencil because my gorgeous is just like a string here, right? So starting with my gorgeous like this, and then I'm going to use this outer shape and add some auras like this, right? Just mimic the outer shape and add some petals. I'm drawing freehand here, again mentioning to you, if you are too conscious about symmetry, please trace the other side. I will probably show one of the sessions like that, do that exercise in one of my sessions, but probably the last session, because I'm not too much in support of tracing and all, because we are basically practicing Zentangle here and trying to use Zentangle in different ways, right? So adding these auras, nice leafy shapes in the left out space, right? So I'll just ink it and it will be clearer to you what have I done here. So I'm going to add a nice gorgeous first, right? So taking cue from my circle, I'm just going to add a nice gorgeous shape. Onion shape, pumpkin shape, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And then the rest of the space, I'm just mimicking the outer shape of my gorgeous like this, and coming back and giving a nice leafy shape, staying within the limits of my circle. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing here. Like this. Yeah. And I'm doing the same exercise on the other side also. Again, closely aura the first one, come back down, take a cue from the circle that you drew, again come back down, and you're done. Yeah. Now we can get rid of the unwanted lines, right? So although this is also strictly prohibited in Zentangle, right? But since it is basically an inspired art, I'm just getting rid of my excess lines here. Basically that is the string that we used here and we penned it, right? To avoid confusion, I just deleted the excess lines, and this is the motif that we are going to be working on today, right? Now I'm going to add one more layer like this inside it. Right? So we have couple of sections here to play around. What say? yeah, including these two sections and each of these sections. So let's get started and start tangling. So as far as these two sections are concerned, I am going to stick to what it should be like, right? That is what the traditional gorgeous is like. So I'm just going to add some bold inked portions there, yeah, because I like it that way, right? So I'm going to ink this section. As I mentioned in my previous sessions also, try and ensure that some portions have bold inking as far as any motif or any tile that you make, right? It always adds to the look of your tile or motif or whatever design that you are drawing, right? The drama factor is added instantly by using drama tangles, and gorgeous is one of them. So take your time and just add that inking. You can always use a bolder nib, use an 08 or a graphic one in case it is easily available with you. I am using my O1 only. I actually don't like switching pens too often in between my drawing unless it is really required. Yeah, so I avoid that. It kind of breaks my flow. But yes, it can be a little faster if you can switch nibs. Yeah. So I'll just do that exercise of inking. So I've inked one side and I'm now moving on to the other. So make sure you don't put your hand on the ink, because it takes, even the black pen takes a little time to dry up and you may end up smudging or spreading the ink. So avoid putting your hands over it. You can see the boldness that this inking adds to your gorgeous. So as we ink, keep thinking about what do you want to add in the center. Pick a tangle of your choice. Anything that comes easily to you. Let's fill it up with some nice flowy mochas or tipple or anything, any grid tangle, whatever you feel like, whatever you are comfortable with, or just some lines like mist or anything. So I'll just ink it and get back. So once you are done with your inking, now let us move to the next section, that is the center part. So what I'm going to do is add some nice flowy mochas. You can also use a different colored pen if you wish, right? So I'm just drawing mochas, the flowy ones, using mocha as a filler here, right? So just going with the flow. Using it the way the spaces want me to. Using it as a filler. You can use it differently. You can use some other tangle, whatever you feel like. Right, so mocha sprouts, mocha arranged as elegant, whatever you feel like, whichever way you feel like, you can go ahead and maneuver its shape. That's the beauty of the tangle. And flux goes really well with it. So just feel free to add it here and there. Fill up the small little spaces with tipple. Flux and tipple go hand in hand. And still some small spaces left, just fill it in. It will definitely add to the look of your tangle. Right? So we will get back to the very small little spaces. First let us tangle. Yeah. So these small tiny spaces in between, just go back to them, fill it up. Yeah, you can see how it adds to the look of the tangle. Small intersectices, spaces in between your tangles. Take that time, make that effort, and slowly fill in the small little spaces left here and there. Yeah. So moving on to the next section now. This section I'm just going to start with a little inking here. Create a moon and then just add lines with some weight at the end. This exercise we have done already in one of the motifs. I think the first motif that we drew. It's like a feather. Yeah. This part again I'm just going to add some auras. You can choose any tangle of your choice. Right? I just feel like going with plain auras because the space is less. I am not sure if I'll be able to do justice with a tangle here, but you can go ahead and add orbs or anything else that you feel like. Right? I'm just going with simple auras. Adding a little pen pressure at the beginning and at the end will also make a little difference. Lines may not be simple lines. You can always add character by differing the pen pressure a little bit. So take your time, and even if it is simple auras, draw each stroke deliberately. Enjoy it. Yeah. So moving on to the next section now. So let us see what do we want to do in the next section. So let's draw something like probably a tangle called. I'll just go with some orbs here, right? So I will add some nice big orbs like these. Something like onomato, but we will deviate a little. Even orbs look so nice here, right? So everything looks so beautiful in Zentangle. I'm just adding some not so perfect circles called orbs. Take your time, take that effort to insert them one by one, right? And then we have one more section, and I will just go with some fescues there. Coming from both directions randomly. Yeah. So as far as these orbs are concerned, I'm just going to add one more orb inside, add an aura, and then add some lines like these. Right? So add another one inside, add one more aura to that orb, and then just add lines, slightly curved lines to give the look of some buttons or something like that. Also like something like a tangle called bobs, right? That's BORBZ, right? A tangle called bobs looks somewhat like this. So there are a whole lot of tangles that you can choose from, so feel free to do that. Choose anything of your choice. Yeah, and then I'll just fill in the leftover spaces, or you can add some auras, whichever way you feel comfortable. I feel like inking it. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll do this on both sides, right? So we'll stick to the same tangles on both sides since it is a motif. At least that much symmetry I would like to maintain. Yeah. Yeah. And then with the fescues we have done this exercise up to number of times. Just aura it nicely, closely, each of the fescues, link them together, just sew them together. Closely aura each of them. Right, and then you can add one or two more layers of aura. Probably I'll just go with one more because we need spaces for orbs inside. Yeah, so just adding one more layer of aura. So once we are done with that, just fill up the rest of the spaces with orbs. Same size, different size, whatever you feel like. You can also add some bit of ink here and there, rounding. Just filling in tipple or orbs in the leftover spaces. So I've said this couple of times in my earlier videos also. If you are new to Zentangle, absolutely new to it, not familiar with the terms that I keep using, then I have a beginner's course on Zentangle on udemy.com. You can find me, Sanyukta Saxena, on Udemy. Create a login and you can buy that course. It's mostly on offer. And it will introduce you to the concept of Zentangle and Zentangle method in a very systematic way. And you will be in a better position to follow my videos and understand what Zentangle is all about if you take that course. At least it is highly advisable as far as from me it's concerned, because don't get into explaining each and every term that we use while we draw here. Yeah, so it will help you. So that's how I've done one side, and I'll replicate exactly the same thing on the other. Yeah, starting from the orbs. So I've done the same exercise on both the sides, right? Exactly the same. And if you want, you can add something else, or you can leave it here, whatever you feel like. I'll just probably add some diminishing dots here. Dots reducing in size, something like this. You may or may not do it. Entirely up to you. Right? So just a little bit. That's it. Small embellishment. So let us move on to shading now. Shading the gorgeous on the white section below, in the center, right? Make sure you don't cover the whole thing and you leave the center white, right? And then these, it's very simple, just the both the ends. Don't have to shade much here. A little will be visible because the ends are already black. Same here, just like you shade a border, the same principle. Darken the edges a little and leave the center white. That's all you need, right? So I'm going to do the same for all. So I hope you are also experimenting with using tangles in different arrangements, in different ways, create different motifs. By now I think I've given you some idea on how you can use it in different ways. There are so many other ways. Probably we'll try some purely floral ones in the next one, in the next session, where we just use some purely floral tangles and create different motifs, right? So let's blend now. the lower part of the gorgeous, we have almost turned it gray, and we'll highlight the rest. This part, just blend the graphite here, leave a section gray, again bring it towards the center but don't blend too much. Yeah, same on the other side. Just blending a little, taking it off the edges. Yeah. And then the chalk, the center section of your muka, highlight it. The upper part of your gorgeous, highlight it. The center of the other two sections, highlight them. Yeah, use a different blender and just soften. Chalk. Blend it, even it out. Yeah, we are done. Right? So that's our motif for today. I'm going to put my chalk now. And I shall see you again with another new session on Tangled Motifs. Right? Till then, have a good time. Bye-bye.